Hello everyone, and thanks for coming along with me today. I have been doing a complete overhaul and reorganization of the natural rock displays found on many of my sculptures. For those just joining us, you have found your way to Chris's Granite Paradise Sculpture and Rock Garden, which is composed of stone slab byproducts from the stone countertop industry. Yes, really cool stones quarried in just about every country of the world. Here we are seeing a few of these sculptures that don't have the natural rock displays, but just so that we can enjoy the beauty of the slabs themselves when they are washed off and wet. But for the remainder of the video, we will be looking at several large rock displays, most of which are completely new. The rocks are also from many different locations, and one of the reasons for this overhaul is that I want the displays to be much more location focused or grouped in other ways that make them more interesting and relevant to people who see them. There are something like 30 sculptures and almost as many displays, so this video will really just serve to get us started. The other big announcement is that we have just passed 3,000 subscribers. Yes guys, 3,000 people have listened to me droning on about rocks. I know some of you have told me that you use it as background noise to help you get to sleep. Others of you have watched me pull weeds, or smashed a few grasshoppers and wasps, or maybe laughed at my time lapses tamping the ground for a base, or dangerously hoisting 70-pound boulders up tall ladders. And well, at least some of you continue to return regularly, for which I am surprised and ever more grateful. The format of this video was inspired by John from Rhode Island, one such soul who keeps coming back, and who asked me quite some time ago to get the garden hose out and spray down the sculptures to see them wet. And since everything is really dirty right now because of moving so many rocks around, this is a great time to do so. Because I'm filming this in early July and the days are at their longest, I have decided to start with those sculptures that get good sunlight on two opposite sides this time of year. Since during the winter months the sun only comes from the south, very low in the sky, and many of my pieces get no sunlight at all, being overshadowed by the other sculptures. You will see each section start with the name of either the sculpture or the display, along with a photo showing both sides of the same sculpture. Since some sculptures are not named yet, send me your ideas and clearly indicate which sculpture you might be referring to. I would love to hear from you about this in the comments. Hello, my name is Chris, and I'm a rockaholic. This is the new Yellowstone River display, completely filling this sculpture now. Previously, most of these rocks were on another sculpture, and only the backside of this had the rocks you see now. I have collected along the Yellowstone for over 30 years, along with my family. Now that we live here in Colorado, a good number of these rocks have been given to us by our dear friend Art, whom some of you may have seen in previous videos. He comes this way from time to time and bestows upon us carloads of goodies for us to enjoy. Of course, the Yellowstone is home to agates, petrified wood, and jaspers, but also to countless other unique rock types, encompassing an extremely complex geological history. If you have not yet done so, I encourage you to watch my Yellowstone playlist with a growing selection of long-form videos about different rock types and geologic topics relating to the river's wide selection of rocks and minerals. Remember, the shorts are no longer included in the playlists since they are made from snippets taken from the long videos. I will point out that there are many cut and polished pieces here and there on this display. Perhaps you have seen a few already. I even have a large cabinet, which is not shown in this video, veneered in large Yellowstone rocks. Because of the Yellowstone's long descent from higher ground, still uninterrupted by dams, and the extreme climate of Montana with its freeze-thaw cycles, violent floods, and very hot summers, really only the hardest rocks seem to make it as far downstream as places like Billings or even further east. Therefore, it seems like almost every other stone we could pick up is suitable for being cut, polished, tumbled, made into jewelry, etc. Putting the rocks aside for a moment, the sculpture you are seeing here happens to be one of my more recent builds from 2024, and the full process was filmed and explained, first as 3 full videos, and then later I condensed those 3 down into one action-packed video entitled How to Build Really Cool Sculptures with Reclaimed, Repurposed Countertop Industry Byproduct. Remember that on YouTube you have to put as many keywords into the title and description to attract viewers. So that's a long title. Anyway, I will include the link to the sculpture building playlist at the end, which contains this video. But here is a snapshot of the thumbnail that you should look for. If you are interested in more detailed explanations of the Yellowstone rocks, I mentioned earlier the Yellowstone rock hounding playlist, which will also be included at the end. But specifically, I want to bring up the Common Yet Unique series, which gives a good look into these rocks more individually, such as agates, basalts, porphyries, aventurine, sandstones and conglomerates, pudding stones, etc. I still have a few more of those to do one of these days. Here we are seeing the quarry site display, and I want to point out that the sculpture itself is called the Cloud of Witnesses. This is based on the teaching in the biblical book of Hebrews, chapter 12, where we are exhorted to not get tangled up in sin, which saps away our life energies, but to rather run with perseverance the race marked out for us, being surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. And this cloud refers to those in the faith who have gone before us, described at length in chapter 11. It gives us a picture, if we can imagine it that way, of crowds cheering us on as if we were in a stadium or something. But back to the display itself, it is called the quarry site display because this wide array of stones comes mostly from one location in south central Wyoming, where an abandoned quarry exists that was carved out of beds of amazing jasper and agate by the Native Americans as a source for stone tooling. But it just happens that there are several faults that pass through the area, along with fascinating geologic variety. This video is a quick look at the display as a whole, but I will attach the quarry site playlist at the end here, where you can access 5 videos, I believe, maybe there are 6, about these different materials that are found in close proximity to each other. Yes, all within a day's wanderings on the hills there. We see on a metamorphic and igneous end of things, this amazing rose quartz, which comes from veins of quartz, some several feet thick, which spiderweb through a pink granite, as well as a beautiful hornblende rich gneiss, which exists in large dikes protruding throughout the area. And these provide us with stunning black sparkly rocks, many with well-formed crystals. Then on a different set of low hills, there is an abundance of limestone, out of which are eroding these brilliant red and banded jasper nodules, along with the agate and druzy quartz geodes that we are seeing scattered over the sculpture here. On a different hill is the actual quarry site, and that entire hill is covered with agate-rich jasper of many colors and patterns. Out in the more open areas, all of the above have been exposed to eons of Wyoming wind, and many beautiful ventifacts can be found. A ventifact is a rock that has been shaped in a particular way by constant wind acting on it, including one here made of beautifully polished rose quartz. I have yet to do a video about these ventifacts, so watch for it one of these days. On yet another hill, we have what I call the wind-polished jasper. Many of you may have seen that video. That was one of the first ones I did on the quarry site rocks. And yes, these rocks are rounded and polished to a high shine by very certain conditions that only occur in an area about 30 feet square. Also found here and there are fossil shells, both in the limestone as well as in jasper. Also some corals from time to time. Also there is an area rich in petrified wood. your one-stop shop if you want to do an introductory rock hounding trip. Here we are seeing the bell tower, called thusly due to its shape and the open space in the top section, in which has hung a beautifully designed wind chime made for me by Alan S. quite a few years ago, using actual spent, curved, and flat blades along with diamond core bits and router bits, all from the stone industry in which I was working at the time. Those of you who have been with me for a while, I am sure you have heard it chiming away in the background of most of my videos that are filmed here in the garden. A minute ago I mentioned making better videos. Well, this sculpture happens to be really the only one that I have taken the time to mathematically calculate its weight statistics, number of pieces, hours of cutting and drilling time, tooling usage and cost, as well as the cost of the stone and so forth. Search the channel simply for Bell Tower and you should be able to locate the video easily. The rocks you are seeing are all beach rocks from San Diego, California. Yes, over various years and trips, I mailed myself 18 large flat rate boxes, weighing about 30 or 35 pounds each, and brought several larger specimens home in my checked baggage over those trips. Again, there are several full videos just about these San Diego rocks, so I don't need to say much here other than to point out that these rocks give us a fascinating glimpse into a paleo landscape. In other words, they are eroding out of thick conglomerate beds which were formed when the landscape was very different from what it is today. And the rocks are now being exposed again to water action after many millions of years. And yet the mountains that they eroded out of no longer exist. Sort of like those movies about people who are cryogenically frozen or preserved and then somehow wake up far in the future in a world that is completely unrecognizable to them. It is a story about tectonic movements, mountain building, erosion, and deposition, and then, like we like to say, rinse and repeat. I encourage you to check out all my San Diego videos if these topics and beautiful beach scenery sound good to you. I can't talk about this display without giving full credit to my awesome friend Grant and his wonderful wife, longtime friends of my wife and I. If you guys hadn't have moved to San Diego all those years ago, none of this would have happened and we would not be enjoying these rocks today. Lord willing, many more such adventures await us, my friend. And now we come to the RFTF 2015 display of amazing jaspers, serpentines, and other treasures from a couple of locations in California's Central Valley. But before we go into the rocks, this is my 4,000-pound flower pot stand. Well, it's probably not that much, but it is heavy. Everyone should have one of these out on their deck with the patio furniture. It's one of my oldest sculptures, still surviving years of cannibalism. Cannibalism is what I call tearing down simpler sculptures to build bigger and better ones. Denver's Channel 7 News came out, I believe it was in 2014, and then again in 2019, and I remember showing this one off in the 2014 interview. In 2015, my longtime rock buddy, Grant, and I met up with a group near Fresno, California known as Rockhound Field Trip Fanatics. You can still find them online today, with Chris Rowe leading things at the time. Such an amazing time with really cool people. We went to a few places that I guess are off limits now, looking for what is known as blue lawsonite, which is a favorite stone for lapidary and carving, as well as vibrant jaspers, plasma agate, serpentine, which is the pearlescent green one shown in this clip, along with many other unexpected surprises. Yet another full video needs to be made just about these rocks. Here we have our final sculpture for this video, the Tornado. This is another of the earlier creations, although these shelves with the rocks were added much more recently. Although there are a few small collections on some of the shelves, such as a handful of rocks I got when traveling with my daughter to Costa Rica. Benjamin, if you're seeing this, can you spot the rocks we found together? and another small batch found near Devil's Tower in Wyoming. The majority of these rocks are what I call mixed. A few of this and a few of that, or maybe just one of something, and many of which I have no idea what they are or where they are from. The reason for this is that I'm a very irresponsible rock collector. No, the reason for this is that over the years, friends have given me their extra or unwanted rocks. For example, a whole pickup load on one occasion where a guy from the club cleaned out his yard, and I pretty much took all of it. On another occasion, I traded about a pickup load of granite slabs to Scott Resources, which is a company who supplies rock collections to, I believe, all the public schools in the country. And they were located here in town at the time and had a huge yard of just piles and piles and piles of every different rock you can imagine. Regrettably for me, they have now moved their facilities to Pennsylvania. For the most part, this was a load of mostly all the stuff that they had discontinued and just had in random piles. Really cool and colorful stuff. Some very large and exotic boulders that I got from them are scattered around here in the garden, but much of it, unfortunately, I did not make note of its origins. Anyway, all of this has added up to what is now a lot of unknown materials, which are on this sculpture and one other that you will see in a future video. Notable rocks here that I do know, though, are the black metallic ones toward the bottom. Those are amazing magnetic, what we called cannonballs, which I collected with Alan S. near Farthing, Wyoming. That was a mining district back in like the 1800s, along with some stunning magnetite ventifacts from another site near there. The beautiful white and turquoise are copper-stained quartz from Nevada. Those were collected by Grant. A good amount of the petrified wood came from Kevin B's backyard cleanup. Another good amount of these rocks came from Fred H. when he passed away and his family was cleaning out his backyard. Any of you in the local rock club who are watching this will know the people that I am talking about. Hunter and Caden, if you guys are out there watching this, the cool rock you brought me from the summit of Long's Peak is here, along with the other rocks you gifted me that day. There are many other rocks that have different stories tied to them, but those are the most notable. Now I am being much more careful to keep stuff organized, and part of the motive for the description here in this video, for example, is to have a sort of record before I get old and start forgetting things. Eventually, I will do full videos about these displays because there is so much more to say about the rocks on just this one sculpture, for example. Just as I'm looking over this, I see garnet gneiss from upstate New York, huge garnets there, thunder eggs from Oregon, some of them cut and polished beautifully, purple fluorite, which I believe is from Missouri, my beach rocks collected in Sicily. Someday I should tell you guys the story behind those rocks. I see rainbow petrified wood from Arizona, tiger's eye from South Africa, that large piece of labradorite, so blue here seen wet, which is likely from Madagascar. Grant, I believe you had given that to me, as well as that beautiful floret of pink tourmaline in lepidolite from California. Grant, I think you mailed me that one years ago. Nothing expensive here really, or hard to get, but all of it seen together here makes a very nice display, especially seeing it sprayed down like this. I sure hope you enjoyed this fairly quick look at all these projects, and as you can see, we still have many more to go that are quite dusty and in need of a good spraying down, which I hope to do for you guys soon. Please remember to follow the links here to the various playlists if you are interested in digging a little deeper into those rock varieties. I will also take this opportunity to recommend my video celebrating 15 years, which really gives a good overview of how things went around here from 2008 when I started through 2023, which was when that video was filmed. That's 15 years in one video, so don't expect too much detail there. I mentioned earlier that the channel has just passed the 3,000 subscriber mark, and it seems like I have uploaded an awful lot of full videos, not including the shorts, and yet it seems that ideas still come to me faster than I can create videos, and so the lineup is getting longer instead of shorter like we might think would happen. Thanks so much for coming along. Sharing rocks and their story is most of the thrill. And you guys give me a good reason to try and keep this place looking nice. Blessings to you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.